Have you ever found yourself in a situation where everyone around you seems to be so passionate about something, yet you can't help but feel like you're not entirely on the same page as them? And so you try to put yourself in their shoes again and again just to see if you could view the world the way they do, but in the end, you're still stuck with the same questions. I often had this feeling growing up in an environment where I was always surrounded by people who are extremely passionate about God. As a member of a fervent Catholic family, I was brought up in church at an early age. I was taught to pray the rosary, recite prayers, receive the holy sacraments, and study the catechism. As I got a bit older, I also started to play piano for the church and took on a few other duties. All these things I was doing at the time allowed me to become familiarized with the religious traditions and be surrounded by people of faith. Because I loved the community at my church, it was confusing to me whether I was carrying out a life of faith truly because I believed in God, or if it was just because of my family and friends. If you were to ask me at that point whether I believed in God, I most likely would have said yes, but without giving much thought to it. It was an identity that had stuck with me all my life. It was all that I knew. However, deep down inside, I had so many questions about God that were left unanswered. Yet, I was afraid to speak up because I felt like no one would understand me or even have the answers to them. Why bother ask? It might have just been me doubting God. I didn't fully trust in God, yet I couldn't bring myself to confess that I didn't believe in anything at all either. Because not believing in anything at all in this whole entire universe takes some major faith in itself. As life went on, I found myself still struggling with the same questions. Do I believe? Do I not believe? Am I a believer? Or am I just a church goer? If God is real, then why would He allow so much sin and suffering to happen around the world, especially to good people? How can Jesus' crucifixion atone for our sin when so many others have also died for a righteous cause? Realizing that going to church alone wasn't enough, I started to look into other resources. If I was going to make a decision that will affect the rest of my life, I have to be certain about it. I was so desperate to find the answers that I would spend hours researching, reading commentaries, and attended different Christian ministries in hope of finding another community that would help me. However, the more I looked into it, the more confusing it became. I started to notice that everyone was speaking from their own interpretations, their own assumptions, and their own feelings. And the teachings from one resource would often contradict the others. Just at the moment when I was about to give up, I was able to engage in a conversation with a person that forever changed my life. Through this mentor, I was able to learn that the world we're living in right now is not the world that God had intended to create. This world that we're living in, it's a broken world where unfortunate things happen to both good and bad people. God, the Father, who had originally created this world to be good, has been in anguish for 6,000 years to tell us His side of the story. Our Father, who is full of love and grace, wants us to live a happy and fulfilled life more than anyone. However, though many of us have the heart to seek God, we're often unclear about how exactly we're supposed to do so. One thing we do know is that the true God doesn't want us to solely rely on our own imagination to understand who He is, but the true God reveals Himself to us. Because we have His Word, we have a way to understand our origin, the reasons why the world is the way it is today, and most importantly, our Father's plan to save humanity. Though I had the desire to seek God, I never thought about seeking Him through His Word. But if you think about it, not seeking God through His own Word is like trying to get to know someone by going to everyone else besides that person and asking for their opinions instead. In doing so, we might get a lot of information, but how many of those really are accurate? Why don't we just directly ask the person we want to get to know ourselves? Growing deeper in a relationship with God through His Word really is life-changing. Before this faith journey, I was someone who would often find myself unhappy and unsatisfied with everything around me. I appreciated life. However, I couldn't help but feel empty inside. In this world we're living in, where materialistic things are highly valued, the concept of happiness is now determined by the things we own, how much money is in our bank accounts, and how many followers we have on the internet. However, let's think about it. Can these things truly make us happy? They can, but only for a short amount of time. After painstaking efforts to achieve them, many people still find themselves having to work even harder to maintain them. Happiness from the things of the world really is temporary. Therefore, let's open the door of our hearts and invite God to come inside. Let's listen to our Father, the one who created us, and hear what He has to say. Let me share a verse with you. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 to 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your path straight.
Hey, mortal friends! Thanks for visiting us at EZBible. Don't forget to click the like and the subscribe button. God bless.